When I grew up, like, mental illness was something that was never really talked about in my family. Coming from an Asian American family, mental illness can kind of be downplayed, and I remember when I was talking to my mom about the suicides on campus, she was like, "Oh, like, you know you can, like, talk to us anytime, right? But, like, also, like, Sarah, we know that, like, will never happen to you because you're not that kind of person." And I was like, well, like, internally, I don't know, that was a weird thing to come to terms with because, mental illness can happen to anybody. It's like a combination of chemicals in your head and how it interacts with each other. So, like, I never really thought I had any issues with mental illness until I remember sending a Snapchat to my friend this one time, and in the caption I was like, it was a very long and rambling caption. I was talking about how much I hated myself and my body, and how that, like, no one would ever love me because I was so ugly and, like, so gross. And she didn't reply to that, but she did talk to me, and she was like, "Sarah, like, if you're seriously feeling that way, like, you should talk to someone about it." And, like, a lot of the things I was saying to myself, like, wasn't normal at all. And that one of the first things I realized this year, sophomore year, was that I was running out of tissues a lot slower than I was during freshman year. I remember having to make these, like, Dwayne Reed runs every 2 weeks because I would run out of tissues since I would be crying so much. I think a lot of that also contributed to sort of my social anxiety. Sometimes I, like, wouldn't want to leave my room because I woke up in the morning, I looked in the mirror, and I was like, I'm, like, so ugly today, I can't interact with other people. And if I had to, I would, like, walk quickly or, like, try to, like, avoid eye contact with people because I would think that they would think I was ugly, like, oh, look at that, like, look at her, like, walking, she's so gross, like, she's so ugly, like, look at that bit of tummy fat poking out from her jeans. Like, as a girl, you look at yourself in the mirror every day and you scrutinize, like, almost every part of your body, from, like, your hair to, like, your nails to your, like, knees. Like, I would think about how dark my knees were, and I would just think about, like, how there were so many parts of my body I could fix. And I would compare that to scrolling on the Explore page of Instagram, or looking up, like, the profile pictures of, like, my friends, and wishing I could have their features or wishing I could be like them, because I thought the only reason I, like, couldn't get a boyfriend was because I was so ugly. And like, a lot of it just manifested in me, like, again, like, hating myself. And it's so sad to see that back then I was a person who was, like, trapped under all that, and I felt like I couldn't get out, and I felt like that was just who I was destined to be, and that there was absolutely no way to, like, not hate myself, to see myself in a positive light, to not attribute everything to how terrible, like, how much of a failure I was. I think during the summer, after I got off campus, I found an amazing group of friends who didn't go to Columbia, but were all interning in New York at the same time as I was. And I think the way they talked about themselves and the way they saw themselves really, really, like, influenced how I saw myself, because by then, like, I realized that it wasn't normal, and that what they were saying to themselves in no way, like, matched my own fears and anxieties and what my internal dialogue was. And through that, like, and through their encouragement and support and, like, their confidence in me, I think I learned that I could be someone who enjoyed life, and someone who didn't cry, like, every week, and who wouldn't go outside because her eyes were too swollen from crying the previous night. So that, I think, in addition, I also started going to the gym this summer, something I really never had time to do during the school year. And through that, I learned that my body could do other things, that it didn't have to be just an object of desire, or an object for sex, or a means for validation. I think that when I started going to the gym, I learned that my body could move in ways that I never expected it to, could lift more weight than I ever expected it to, and that just gave me the confidence to see my body as something other than an object, or as something other than a thing to like have things be done to, if that makes any sense. While I'm like still dealing with a lot of the issues that I faced last year, I think it's gotten a lot better because I realized I actually did have issues dealing with mental illness and that I could seek support for it.